Hey everybody, how you doing today? My name is Calvin Nye. I'll be working on a little more of my comic. I'm also going to listen to a article about Vince, what's his name? Vince Coletta, the inker who ruined Kirby art. So maybe something you guys might like to listen to as well while I work. But just check out his stuff and yeah. Oops, let's actually fix this up a little bit so you can actually listen to this.
Oh, hi! You caught me coloring in my original first print edition of Walking Dead. Speaking of ruining things, let's talk about the artist who ruined most of Jack Kirby's art. Comic tropes. Comic tropes. Hello, welcome to Comic Tropes. I'm your host, Chris. Jack Kirby is remembered as Jack the King Kirby for a good reason. Over his many decades working in American comic books at Marvel and DC, he amassed a ton of fans because of his dynamic poses and his energetic layouts. But of course, even in his comics, he was never the only artist. In American comics, there's a bunch of artists that create the final product. Of course, there are colorists, there are letterers, and as we're going to talk about today, there are inkers. Now, the inker is somebody that will use ink to darken and embellish the penciled artwork so that it is made print ready. Some of the most popular inkers of Kirby's work include Joe Sinnott on Fantastic Four and Mike Royer on New Gods. But there's one artist who, while he had his fans, is considered by many to have absolutely ruined Jack Kirby's beautifully detailed work. That man was Vince Coletta, and today we're going to talk about the history and the techniques of this very controversial artist. And I encourage you, if you are ever going to watch a Comic Tropes all the way to the end, make it this one, because Vince Coletta flamed out in a spectacularly hilarious fashion. Vincente Coletta was born in Sicily in 1923, and according to family legend, Vince's father was a high-level mafioso who moved to America to escape law enforcement. The family followed a decade later, and Vince attended the New Jersey Academy of Fine Arts. He ultimately found his way into the world of comics in 1952. In 1952, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, previously best known for creating Captain America, launched the title Young Romance, and it birthed the popular genre called romance comics. The readership after World War II was older and less interested in superheroes. Romance comics became very popular in the early 1950s, and Coletta broke in as a penciler who inked his own work on titles like Intimate Love and Darling Love. The following year, he began working for Atlas Comics, the company that would eventually rename itself Marvel Comics. Vince's first confirmed work was My Love for You in Love Romances number 37. His work was strong, and he was noted for his delicate lines, realistic people and environments, and his lush eyelashes that he'd give to his women. By the late 50s, he was also illustrating romance comics for DC Comics like Falling in Love, or Charlton Comics like Love Diary. His last penciling job for decades was in Love Diary number 6 from 1959. Somewhere in this period, Coletta began inking the artwork of other artists. Exactly where is difficult to nail down. This was a time period where comic books didn't give published credits to the creators that were making them. So it's a little tough to nail down exactly when he started doing this. But what happened was Coletta realized that he could ink faster than he could pencil. And for him, it was all about the payday, not really the art. So he became an inker. Where exactly did he begin doing this? Historians guess that Coletta's first inking of another artist was on one of two books, either the cover of 1956's Annie Oakley Western Tales No. 10 over Saul Brodsky's pencils, or 1958's My Own Romance No. 65 over the pencils of Matt Baker. Neither is confirmed. However, the first time Coletta inked Jack Kirby is pretty much confirmed as the cover of Kid Colt Outlaw No. 100 in 1961. He obtained the work because his work in romance comics was solid. He kept working on them into the 1970s. According to fellow inker Joe Sinnott, Coletta preferred the romance work, saying he liked anything that was quick. Superheroes took time. That, in a nutshell, is Vince's lasting reputation, whether you fall on the side of liking his artwork or finding it lacking. His contemporaries will all say the same thing. He was fast, and he had a reputation for cutting corners to get there. For Vince, it was all about the money. When it comes to inking, the artist will primarily